we would open the floor to the audience for a few questions, and we invite Mani Maki and Dr. Menxiang Ho to respond to your questions. And you can use the microphone right in front of you, the green button. So, anything you want to say, before? All right. So. Yes, Dr. Moore, please.
Indeed, I feel very interesting presentation. I think here and also I received many educational knowledge. And since you know about the situation in WHO and political problems around the world that carried by big powers, what do you think is a more practical way to reduce the uncovered region of the world?
Well, the first thing I should say is that in writing the paper that we did and in doing this work, which I think will appear in the Lancet in the next few weeks, we have had a great deal of support from staff within WHO. So the individuals working in the organisation are very willing to support this process. For obvious reasons, they are professional people. They realise that it is completely unjustifiable to have the problems that we do have. Taiwan should be an easy problem, as I said. That's really so obvious that something needs to be done, but there is a real political problem. I think with the rest of the other areas I talked about, some like, I think Northern Cyprus, Palestine, they can be addressed. There are real problems in the former Soviet Union. Places like Transnistria and Nagorno-Karabakh, they need sorted out, but the difficulty is that they are viewed as internal problems. They're not adequately internationalized. They're really not on the agenda at all. And the difficulty, particularly in the Caucasus, is that these things get caught up in a wider geopolitical debate about international terrorism, because there's a sort of tacit acceptance that Chechnya, and with it, the bits that go around it, is the Russians' responsibility to deal with, and then the Americans can deal with Islamic militantism, in the rest of the world. It's typically this sort of standoff there. So many of these problems do get stuck with international politics. How do we get around it? I think people like ourselves just keep saying something must be done. We keep trying to get it on the agenda. We expose the lunacy of many of the things that take place. I think in the long run, things do happen, but we need to realize it will take a very, very long time. But I think we recognize that in the WHO and elsewhere, there are people who want to make the world a better place, and that's why people join these organisations, and we need to find ways of supporting them. And often by working from outside the organisation, we can help by keeping a bit of pressure on them as well, pressure that they often welcome.
I agree with what you say, but United Nations has a big power, big powers. I see what my observation, WHO, in fact, has a big veto power by some countries. How your calculation for them and big power say no?
That's absolutely true. Yes, I probably shouldn't go too far down that route here, but particularly, I think that's undoubtedly true, and there are clearly issues in terms of voting and so on. With the history of, I think the current leadership of WHO is all written in due course. I think it will be interesting as well, but maybe that's for another discussion.
I have a question for Dr. Human. I remember one of the slides you showed the creation of politically neutral ground. And I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. In the WHO by itself is supposed to be politically neutral. And if you were to create a new ground, how can you be sure that will be politically neutral?
A very difficult question to answer in practice, because we know that in the statutes of all of the UN agencies, the international technocrats and officers of those organizations pledge not to be politically influenced in their decisions. And WHO as an agency is a technical advisory body to its member states. So theoretically, public health should be a politically neutral issue anyway. But de facto and in practice, we know this is not the case. If this was the case, then the Taiwan issue would not have been a point of discussion today. So it is, as Martin has said, that we should also put pressure on both the political elements of WHO and then the professionals, the public health experts within the organization, to make decisions that are in keeping with good practice of public health. To keep Taiwan out of the global outbreak and alert response network makes no sense if you look at the public health implications. And even if you look at the elements of the MOU between China and the WHO, it's obstacles which have nothing to do with good public health practice. And that's what we're calling for, is simply internationally acceptable public